Today we're talking about Roosterteeth and RWBY again, because I noticed something kind of weird going on with the Roosterteeth channel RT animation or something like that. Now, before we get into that news, let me give you a little backstory. And after we do the backstory here, this is information you may have seen. I talked about this previously in other videos. However, after this, we have a segment where we go over some new news that I didn't cover regarding RT and RWBY, and then we'll go into the main point of all of this, and it'll all flow very neatly together. The main point is, well, the headline for this article, Roosterteeth resorts to posting years-old RWBY World of Remnant videos again. So we'll get to that in a moment. Here is leading up to it. So let's establish that RWBY is seeing a massive decline in interest according to Google Trends. You can see here on screen, if you're not audio only, we're taking a look at a graph, and this graph is for that. You can see the search term right here, RWBY, worldwide, past 5 years, and the peak interest was actually all the way back, February 14th through the 20th of 2016, over 4 years ago. That is when the peak interest of RWBY was. You can see this was a little volatile at times. It would spike up. And the reason for that is, as you can probably assume, when a new season was announced or there would be some other sort of news that would bring interest in RWBY, it would spike again. But as you can see, diminishing returns, and it's set to look less and less as the years continue to go on. So let's move on from that. We've got that established. Interest is lower than ever. And then here is the news that I didn't cover regarding this 3 new series. So RWBY, the official RWBY account on Twitter, makes a tweet that says, "We're happy to announce the development of 3 new RWBY shows coming this year for first members." Now, I gotta tell you, from my perspective, when I saw this tweet, I was actually like, oh, wow, this is actually kind of cool. Because, as I've said in other videos, I absolutely don't support what Roosterteeth has been doing and the way they've been running their company and treating employees, etc., etc. I don't want to get into the whole thing about that. I'm sure y'all know my stance there, hopefully. And if you don't, well, that's a TLDR of it. A very, very rough TLDR. The point is, despite how much I disagree with how RT is running things, and despite how much I dislike the way the show has been going in terms of RWBY, there are still some things that interest me about the show, purely from a perspective of entertainment. Like, I want to see how some of the character arcs close out and that sort of thing, you know. So when I saw this announcement from the official RWBY Twitter account saying, "We're happy to announce the development of 3 new RWBY shows coming this year for first members," I thought to myself, this might be pretty cool, actually. And I think, I think they kind of overhyped it a little bit in this tweet. Because when you go and see what this is, really, it's not that impressive. So here on the report, I write some of the things I know people want. Not just because I want them, but because I am actively out there talking to the community and looking at what the community wants. And Roosterteeth, let me tell you, this is what the community wants. This is literally me handing you opportunities to make money. And not just me, because as I said, this isn't coming from me. This is coming from your community. Why don't you listen to them? What does the RWBY community actually want? A Team Stark spin-off series. A spin-off or a short OVA or something of Neo's backstory, which can include Roman's backstory. A new season of RWBY Chibi, whatever happened to that, and more new World of Remnant episodes. These are just 4 things that have very high interest and would probably do well for Roosterteeth. Let me phrase it like that. And what did we actually get? What do RWBY fans actually get from this announcement? Oh, 3 new RWBY series. Wow, that's got to be great. What is it? A first exclusive behind-the-scenes talk. A first exclusive behind-the-scenes talk show hosted by the one and only Carrie Shawcross. Later in 2020, we will premiere a first exclusive live-action series that sees members of RT Animation and probably some special guests play through a RWBY-inspired Dungeons & Dragons campaign set in World of Remnant. And finally, we're also in the early stages of development on a handful of new animated shorts featuring original RWBY fairy tales. This is not what the people want, Roosterteeth. This ain't it. That said, I'm hopeful for the 3rd one. Animated shorts featuring original RWBY fairy tales. That might be kind of cool, and I believe it's supposed to be narrated by Tai Yang. That might be cool. However, who really wants to see Carrie talking about stuff behind the scenes? Sure, there's some very dedicated RT fanatics that are going to like that. But most of the community, they could care less. No offense. The personalities behind the scenes, this is where RT's making a mistake. maybe at one point in time when RT was a smaller company and they did things differently, people were more interested in the personalities behind the scenes. However, RT is not that anymore, at least in my opinion. Don't just take it from me, though. You can see the declining interest for RWBY, and I have a feeling if you were to look at a number of RT's productions, it would be a little bit similar to that. The point is, people want to see new RWBY stuff, not new stuff from RT personalities like live action. That's not really what people want, I don't think, at least. And then this, again, a live action thing, seeing RT members doing, like, playing games, like, it's just, this is not what people want. And it almost comes off egotistical to me that these personalities think, oh, we can just talk about RWBY and the fans are going to love it. They're here for us. No, they're here for RWBY. So that third one is pretty cool, hopefully, the new shorts. Now let's get to the main point. The headline of this video. RWBY is now, well, actually I have one more tweet kind of backing up what I'm saying. So on the Twitter thread where RT announced these 3 new shows, one of the most upvoted tweets, no surprise at all, was someone saying Stark series, please. I guess they don't listen. The only time RT apparently listens is when you complain about, like, shirts having Adam on it. You know, and I'm referencing a situation that happened a number of months back where they came out with a shirt that had Blake and Adam, and then people complained about it because they didn't like the caption that said lovers quarrel, and RT had removed the shirt within a number of hours. Oh, by the way, I don't think I reported on this. I actually forgot until I mentioned this. I've had people sending me that RT no longer has the Clover pins anymore. Now, if you don't watch RWBY, let me explain this really, really quick. This is something I just completely thought of, as I said. So, RT had announced after, I think it was around the end, if not after the recent volume wrapped up, that they had new merch for Crow and Clover. Now, some fanatics on Twitter had this misinterpretation of Clover and Crow's relationship, thinking it was more than just a friendship, which it wasn't, and even in canon in the show, they refer to themselves as friends. So RT releases this merch of Crow and Clover pins, and also had like a glass, a Crow glass or something like that. And people complained that Clover got X'd off in the series, and now they're releasing merch of Crow and Clover because they thought it was more than a friendship. It was like, it's so silly. I can't even explain it properly because it's just a nothing. It's a nothing situation. And apparently RT has listened to those people and pulled the merch because people were sending me that they can't find those pins and stuff anymore on the RT merch site. So looks like they pulled that too. So RT will listen to people crying about non-issues, and when people are giving real suggestions for RT to actually produce something that will make them money, they don't listen. This company, man, it's such a joke. And now that takes us to today's headline. It seems that Roosterteeth is so desperate that they are posting World of Remnant episodes from years ago all over again. I saw this today, 3 hours ago when I took the screenshot earlier today. At this point, it's probably like 5 hours ago or something. World of Remnant episode 6, Huntsman. And then I see a week ago they had posted World of Remnant episode 5, the Vital Festival. This is old stuff. The World of Remnant Huntsman thing is from volume 3. You're talking like 3-4 years ago that this video came out. Now, the only caveat, an argument can be made that Roosterteeth is switching things up by posting World of Remnant videos that were once exclusive to the RT website onto YouTube for people who haven't seen them before to get a chance at doing so now. That is the main argument that I could imagine people will say here. In response to what I'm saying here, they'll use that argument against me. Here's the thing. That's besides the point. The fact is, even if RT is doing that, this is still a video that was done like 3 to 4 years ago. This is how desperate it seems that they are. They're reposting old content. It's just very disheartening, man. And as I say here in my report, it's not that I just have a bone to pick with RT. For example, in 2019, when they announced Volume 8 and 9 in production already, I covered the news. And even in my title said, a positive step forward. And as you can see in my thumbnail, this is painting it in a pretty good light. This was not that long ago. This was a few months ago, back in 2019. Later on in the year, Volume 8 and 9 announced. That's the thumbnail. It's kind of exciting. So when RT does something good, I will cover it. And that said, yeah, I am biased. I don't like the way RT is running their show, their company. I have good reasons for that opinion, though. And the fact is, though, even though I'm biased, I will still cover good things that RT does at times, like this situation here. And now it's just very disheartening because you see this announcement for 3 new shows, and it's nothing anyone really wanted. The interest in RWBY is so far down, and now they're just reposting old videos from like 3 to 4 years ago. This is a bad look. That's it for this report, though. That's really all I have to say on this one. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy the work that we're doing here, please consider subscribing if you're not already, hitting the notification bell if you haven't done so already. And if you want to go further, comment down below, share the video. That all helps out. And if you want to take it even further than that, even further beyond, you can become a channel member via the join button, get some cool emojis and a badge as well. Cool perks back. And of course, you support the channel. And a shout out to the kind people, who promoted yesterday's video over on Twitter. And we had over 20 people doing that. My system caps out at 20. So for the first 20 people, I wonder how many really promoted this, though. That's crazy that we had over 20 people promote this last one. It was a funny video, if I may say so myself. I enjoyed it. I'm glad that you all did as well. Shouts out to JMew2 twice, Antonio, Ankh Uchiha, On the Brain, Don't Need Your Approval, North Bane, Dr. Madness, Christian, Lancaster, Shogun, Spinmaster Rakta, Light, Deshaun M, Rubo, Ryan Jill 2020, KJ Collins, Alex, Jaza Smack. Thank you all very much, and I will see you next time.